Carl Jung, the architect of the soul's deep architecture, once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." And nowhere is this more true than in the haunted chambers of intimacy, where avoidant men seek connection, yet sabotage it from within. They crave love, yet shrink from it. They touch, but do not feel. They stay close, but never near. Because standing between them and intimacy is the dark force of projection, a mirror that does not reflect, but distorts. Today, we step into the underworld of the avoidant man's inner world and unveil the 8 ways projection destroys intimacy, not just with others, but with himself. For projection is not merely a psychological defense, it is a fracture in perception. It takes the invisible wounds he dare not face and casts them onto the one who tries to love him. She becomes the enemy, the critic, the threat, not because she is, but because his own pain demands a face. This is not cruelty, but unconscious survival. To look within would mean to feel, and feeling threatens the very walls that have long kept him safe and alone. He sees her as the mother he couldn't please. The avoidant man often enters love with old ghosts trailing behind him. The woman who loves him becomes, unconsciously, his mother, the one who once withheld affection, who made love feel like a performance that never got applause. So when she asks for closeness, he hears criticism. When she offers care, he feels smothered. He's not responding to her. He's reacting to a memory. This projection distorts her into someone she's not, and the true connection between them is lost in translation. He's not in relationship with her. He's in a reenactment. He projects his own inadequacy onto her expectations. Deep down, the avoidant man feels unworthy, not good enough to be fully seen, not safe enough to be fully loved. But he cannot admit this. So he projects, "You expect too much. You're too intense. You're never satisfied." But it is not her standards that overwhelm him. It is his shame. Her simple desire for intimacy feels like a demand because he's still arguing with his own reflection, the one that whispers, "You will never be enough." In truth, it's not her expectations he fears. It's his own inadequacy that he cannot bear to confront. He sees her emotions as weapons, not invitations. To the avoidant man, emotion is dangerous terrain, wild, messy, uncontrollable. So when she cries, he retreats. When she's upset, he feels accused. Her emotions become weapons in his mind, not because they are, but because he has never learned that emotion can be safe. He projects his fear of emotional chaos onto her expression. He sees her vulnerability as manipulation. He feels under siege when all she wants is to be seen. In doing so, he rejects the very intimacy he longs for. He believes she's the one who's distant. A cruel twist of projection is that it flips the script. The avoidant man, who fears closeness, accuses her of pulling away. "I don't feel like you really want me. You're not fully here. You've changed." But it is he who has built walls, he who holds his truth behind locked doors. He accuses her of emotional absence because he cannot face his own. Rather than sit with his fear, he makes it her fault. He blames the mirror for the shadow on his face. This creates a false story, and in that story, intimacy dies. He projects his fear of abandonment as her neediness. He says she's too clingy, too emotional, too much, but it is not her neediness that frightens him. It is his own. Buried beneath his stoicism is a desperate ache to be loved unconditionally, but to need feels shameful. So he projects, she's too dependent. She's unstable. She's the problem. In truth, she simply reflects a part of him he has never allowed to live, the part that longs to rest in love without fear. He mistakes her intimacy for control. To be truly known feels like danger to the avoidant man. When she leans in, asks questions, wants to understand his inner world, he pulls away. To him, intimacy is not nourishment. It's a trap. It means giving up control. It means being exposed. So he says, "You're trying to change me. You're trying to control me. You don't accept me." But it's not control he's resisting. It's closeness. Her desire to know him is met with suspicion because the deepest parts of him are still wrapped in shame. He projects his fear of commitment as her incompatibility. He tells himself, "She's just not the one. We're too different. We don't want the same things." But often, this is not clarity. It's fear in disguise. The avoidant man fears being consumed, fears losing autonomy, fears needing someone so deeply that it hurts. So instead of facing this fear, he tells himself the connection was never real, that she's too intense, too emotional, too much work. It's safer to leave than to feel what might awaken in him if he stays. He turns his own shame into her criticism. At the heart of projection is a refusal to own one's pain. The avoidant man often carries deep shame. Shame for not being enough, for not knowing how to love, for being emotionally limited. But instead of confronting this, he externalizes it. He hears judgment where there is none. He senses disappointment even when she is offering grace. He accuses her of attacking his character when she's simply asking for connection. The echo of his inner critic becomes louder than her voice, and in that distortion, he retreats, not from her, but from himself. In the temple of love, projection is the silent thief, stealing connection by placing our shadows onto the face of the beloved. Avoidant men are not heartless. They are heart-hidden, and projection is their armor. But as Jung taught us, what we project onto others is the very thing we are being invited to integrate within ourselves. When an avoidant man projects, he avoids the sacred mirror. He turns from the opportunity to confront his wounds, and thus loses the very intimacy that could heal them. But there is another path, the path of individuation, the courageous journey of self-ownership. To pause and ask, is this feeling truly about her, or is it about a wound I've never named? To see her not as an enemy of his safety, but as an ally of his becoming. For only when the projections fall away can he finally see her, not as a threat, but as a mirror, a mystery, a mirror made of love. And in that seeing, intimacy is born. If this video resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you're on the journey of healing from avoidant patterns or loving someone who is, leave a comment below. What projection have you seen at play in your relationships? Remember, true intimacy is not about perfection. It's about presence. And healing begins when we dare to look within. Until next time, stay brave, stay honest, and stay human.